Hey, what's up, world? It's me, your girl, Angela. Welcome to BTrue2U Talk Show. Hey, y'all. This segment is extremely close to my heart. I'm going to have a conversation with my best friend's son. He is, lack of a better word, he's deaf. And so we're going to talk to him. And I know you're saying, how are you going to talk to him and he can't talk to you? Well, we have someone who's going to interpret the things that I'm saying to him, and she's going to speak those things that he's saying to me. He is a miracle, y'all. It was said that he wouldn't get past 20, 3 days, 3 years, but nevertheless, honey, we're getting ready to celebrate his 21st birthday. So, with that being said, let me welcome my guest, Caleb Johnson.
Peace, peace. Yay, yay, peace. Yeah, what's up? What's up?
Hey, Caleb.
Hey, hey. I'm just gonna sign to you. Go ahead and ask. My name is Caleb. My name sign is CJ.
How are you feeling today?
I feel good.
Are you
But
nervous?
a little bit nervous. Yes, yes. Not a lot, just a wee bit nervous. And a little bit, I'm a little shy too.
You
But
shy,
but I've
Caleb?
never done anything like this before. On a TV or anything on announcements, and I have no experience with this at all. So I don't know if it's fun, and also I like dancing and all that too, but I'm just not used to this. But now I'll turn it over to you.
You go ahead. You're doing good to me.
Okay, that's it.
We're going to let you dance too, Caleb. We're going to turn on some music and let you cut the rug, okay? We got a rug for you to cut, okay?
Okay, sure.
So, Caleb, you're about to turn 21.
Yep.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am. I'm very excited to become 21 finally.
What's exciting about being 21, Caleb? You got to pay bills when you're 21.
Yeah, I know how to pay bills, and I know how to save money too.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So, Caleb, you're turning 21 and you're going to have this big gala for your birthday, right? Are you excited about that?
I am. I am. Yeah. I'm so excited about dancing and having the party. It's going to be great.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a question, Caleb, that you're unable to hear, and so you're in a world of silence. How does that feel?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. But I can hear people's voices. I can hear people speaking. I can hear when they clap, loud noises like that, or banging on the door, making loud sounds, or screaming. I can hear those sounds because I'm completely deaf on my left side. And so I'm deaf, yeah, but I can still hear some sounds. So I would kind of say maybe I'm hard of hearing a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
that might be the term.
Okay. So you're going to share your birthday party with so many people. Are you excited about having the nurses and the doctors that's taking care of you for 21 years to be a part of this celebration?
Yes, 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 I am. I'm excited to be 21 and invite all those people, my best friends, and I don't know, three or four nurses maybe, the interpreter, two interpreters, and invite all those people. Yes, yeah, everybody's going to be doing something different. So I'm excited about this for the people to come and join us on the cruise.
Okay. Oh, so
Yes,
you're going on a cruise?
yes.
Have you been on a cruise before?
I think, well, when I was a kid, my family with them to Disney World on a Disney cruise. Yeah, I remember that. I almost forgot. Yeah, but I remember. Yeah, we went on a Disney cruise.
Caleb, do you get to live life, um, a full life? Do you feel like you live in a full life? Do you feel like this cruise are going to get you to experience some things that you never experienced before?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Um, I experienced when I went to when I was growing up when I went to Disney World, and then we went to New York too, and it was nice. To
You
NIC in New York. Do you know the National School for the Deaf there?
okay?
And it was fun. I got to see a whole lot of things there, and we took a lot of pictures. And I want to go again. I want to go there again with my friends because he's never been there. That's one of my desires. I want to get on the plane and I want to go there again because it was intriguing to me, and that was my favorite place there in New York.
You like traveling?
Yes, I do. I do. Yes, I really enjoy that. I want to see different places and meet different deaf people on the way. I want to meet a whole bunch of deaf people all over the place. That's what I want. I've never done that before. So that's why I'm excited. I want to do that in the future.
Okay. Is it hard to travel with your oxygen tank? Do you find that it's a struggle to get out and enjoy life?
Yeah, it's a hard life, but with the oxygen and carrying it everywhere. And so I stay home a lot and I'm kind of like isolated a little bit. And I get sad, I get bored just for staying home all the time, cleaning up the house and just playing games, sleeping, doing the same things over and over with the games. And I've never had a job, so not yet anyway. So I'm trying hard to think about, if I want to meet new friends, what's going to be like. And so that's what it happens when you're in isolation a lot. So sometimes I feel it's not fair, but my mom does the best she can. I respect my mom, and so, you know, and my siblings. So I'm being patient, and I know I will be successful and have a great time on the cruise.
Okay, so we're gonna get you on that cruise, Caleb.
Okay,
Okay.
that's why I'm excited. I'm really excited to go around the different places where it's gonna go.
So Caleb, if you can tell the world one thing about Caleb that they don't know, what would that one thing be?
I would say that I like I like to dance, and I like to learn new skills like technology. I like preparing things. I like construct talking about buildings. I like to exercise. I like to walk and run, and I like to travel to different places. And I love meeting new friends. And I want to connect more with new people. But I'm being patient, and I'm single, and then but a lot of things I have to put on hold for now. And like I said, I like playing games as well, and I like chilling. I'm just taking it easy.
You single as handsome as you are?
Yeah, for many years.
Oh, really?
uh, yeah, I'm handsome and everything, but I have these medical issues that makes it a little tough,
Okay.
and a lot of people don't want to connect with me. They're afraid, and so I just stay to myself. And I guess it's a process to get to know people. That's why.
Do you need help taking care of yourself 24 hours, or are you able to take care of yourself now?
I can take care of myself and my medications. I can, clean my machine and do all those things. I can clean up my room and everything with the dirty dishes and all that. I can do that myself. you know, okay, I can accept that responsibility of taking care. I just don't sit down being lazy. No, uh, no, I can take care of myself. But my mom helps me a lot. That's why.
Kayla, didn't you work at a hotel before for summer?
Yeah, that was the first time. It was the first time at the hotel. But now, okay, I'm looking for something else now. The name, lady's name was Rosa, I think. Yeah, Rosa. Rosa. In the laundry, in the
Uh,
laundry room. But I had a problem there.
but you had a job
I,
before.
but the nurse had to come with me.
Oh, okay.
And so they were kind of paranoid that I was there because of the oxygen and all.
Okay.
And so they kind of gave me a side eye, working with the towels and washing towels and in the laundry room. And it was easy. And then the boss, was kind of uneasy. Okay, and they would show me how to do the job and was telling me how to pay attention to what I needed to do. So I had to leave that summer.
Okay.
And they said, sorry. I told them, sorry, I couldn't go back. And so I've been looking for another job, a better job that would match my skills and my situation. I'm not thinking negative, though. I'm thinking positively, though. So I'm learning my lesson from that one experience. So I was a little frustrated, but I'm still looking. I'm excited to find something different. And then the second time, third time, I applied for a job again. So I haven't gotten anything yet, but I'm not worried about it. Okay, but I know things will change. But not maybe not a hotel. Maybe I stopped that. I tried 3 hotels. I don't want to try that anymore. So.
See, it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be, right? Talking to me.
Right, right.
Are you still nervous?
Oh, I'm not. No, it's the first time here, but I'm feeling better now. I'm fine now.
You'll come back one day?
Sure.
You can come back and tell us about your birthday and your cruise.
Sure, I will. Sure.
Now, I don't have any music, but you want to cut a step for us? You want to do a little dance for us?
Well, what song am I going to do? No music.
Child,
I can't. I have to
you ain't
feel the
got-
music.
there's
I have
something-
to feel the music.
You don't
and
feel it
the
in your heart?
vibrations.
In your heart? What's in your heart? What's in your spirit?
Yeah, I have to connect that sound, with the vibes and dance.
Oh, well, I
No.
ain't got nothing
No.
for you.
Well, maybe your husband has something. Maybe he has a song to play.
Next time.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, the next time we do this.
I appreciate you for
Next time.
coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you for the support. It's great.
I love you, Caleb.
I love you too. Thank you.
I'm proud of you, too.
Thank you so much.
Okay, hold on. You guys, hold on. We'll be right back. Hey, y'all, hey.
Hi, guys.
You know, while we're here, we got something to say, and that's about July 18th and the 19th.
2-day retreat.
You do not want to miss this, honey. We're going to teach you how to take your glam to the next level. We're going to pamper you. We're going to take care of your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul.
This is our Gracefully Growing Retreat, which is going to be all about self-care.
And listen, we're going to feed you. We're going to feed you Friday for our meet and greet. We're going to feed you breakfast. We're going to feed you lunch. And that is not it.
And you do not want to miss Saturday night, the gala.
And dress up, baby, because get ready for the camera because you know how we do it.
Oh,
and it is only
$125.
That's right, $125. And you can get your ticket by Cash App and me at 954-298-0183. That is 954-298-0183.
Or you can cash at me at SD O'Brien, OBRIEN 66.
Get your ticket, girl, because you don't want to miss it.
Bye.
Okay, you guys, we're back. And we're back with, I'm going to say today was Caleb's mouthpiece. Please welcome Miss Elaine. Hello, darling.
Hi.
Love it. First of all, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Please be so kind and look in the camera and tell the people who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Okay. My name is Elaine Lennon, and I've been working in the deaf community for about 30 years now. And the reason I do it is because I'm an advocate for the deaf, because I've seen the discrimination in the community. And as I experience discrimination in my culture, they also experience difficulties in their culture, and they need sometimes advocates. So what I do with community outreach for the deaf is I'm an interpreter, and I also do work evaluations for the deaf and hard of hearing.
You have an organization, correct?
Community outreach for the deaf.
How do people get in contact or connect with you?
They can contact me online. It's on the www.cod4deaf.com.
And so you've been doing this for 30 years?
I've been interpreting for 30 years, but community outreach, COD, has been in operation for 13 years.
So did you have a family member or a loved one that was deaf and caused you to get into it, or is it just something that you just, passion was there for out of nowhere?
No, I didn't have a family member, but I met a deaf woman at church, and she wanted to be my friend. So how can I communicate with her and be a friend if I don't know how to communicate? So she started teaching me signs.
Yeah, and I can imagine that it's hard to have friends that can't speak their language, and so not all people take initiative to learn it and try to be able to communicate. They just take it for granted and maybe write stuff down. But for you to go the extra mile and learn it, that's amazing.
Well, I think that is my calling from God.
Okay.
God has put me in this position, and it's tiresome sometimes, but I want to follow what he says. And my favorite type of interpreting is church interpreting, and to get the deaf to know who God is.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So tell us how to say Jesus.
Jesus.
Also. And God.
Some people do this, but actually he was crucified in the wrist, so
Okay.
it's Jesus.
And God.
God.
Just forward.
God.
I love the Lord.
I love the Lord.
Yeah, I used to dance, and I knew this was the Lord. And you're right, and we didn't do Jesus here. We did Jesus here. So
Right.
thank you. And I know this is name.
Yes.
Okay, that's about all I know. I used to want to learn sign language as well. I knew the ABCs, and I don't know them like I used to. But I think it is something that I want to get into. So if you know someone who wants to now learn sign language, where would we start? How would you direct us?
Well, there's lots of entities online that will teach you basic signs. But if you want to really dive into the culture and this language, you need a deaf friend.
Okay.
And you have a deaf friend.
Yeah. Because things change,
If
right?
he can
Words
teach you.
change, right?
Kind of like
Like slang.
old signs.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because you remember back when we used to say jive turkey and all that, the slang part changes, but the language remains the same.
Okay. Oh, and I do know it's mother,
Mother,
and what is this?
girl.
A girl. And this is father.
Father.
See, I knew a little bit. It's gonna come back to me. I'm gonna learn, Kayla. I'm gonna learn. I know how to say I love you though. I'm gonna learn. And so,
He's laughing.
what would you tell someone who has someone in their family or in their environment that don't hear and don't take the initiative to have a conversation with them?
I would say shame on you. And I know so many people, 95% of people with deaf people in their families don't sign.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartbreaking, and the deaf person feels isolated
Yeah.
because you have those holidays, everybody gets together and they're talking, and there's a deaf person there in the background when everybody just say hi, and that's it. They're not involved in the conversation, and it's really heartbreaking. So what I do many times, I have a party at my house during the holidays, each holiday, so I invite a lot of them over just to fellowship and say you're loved, and you can communicate here. So I do a lot of that.
And I can imagine that they're always in our world, don't know what we're saying. And then imagine if we get invited somewhere and they're the majority and now they get to speak and we don't know. That isolation can't feel good. And so,
Exactly.
yeah, for some reason I just pictured that in my head. Like, what if you go and you're the only one that speaks? So it has to be
That's right.
hard to be in a world where no one is trying to speak your language. Because
Exactly.
literally it's his language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's how you feel when you travel to foreign countries and people don't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your little book and your little trying to show, what you want. It's difficult.
And so this is why it's important that you travel with him or someone who speaks his language, travel him with on the cruise, because to go somewhere when no one speaks your language, someone needs to be there to interpret what he's feeling, what he
Yes.
want to experience, and what he want to eat.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
so is it feasible to have an interpreter around you, say 8 hours a day?
Well, it's feasible, but not always necessary because deaf people do stuff on their own all the time. Deaf people drive, they have families, they have children, they do everything. But as far as communication, going to doctors, going to any
Church.
any place where you need accessibility to conversations, you have to do that.
Is it easy to book an interpreter?
Well, most of the interpreters here in Florida, we have a need for interpreters.
Okay.
And sometimes we get pretty busy, so we ask that you call the interpreter at least 3 or 4, 5, 6 days in advance
Okay.
because we get really busy.
Last question: How many years or how long did it take you to get fluent in sign language?
I would not call myself fluent because I call myself I'm still learning.
Okay.
Because I learn, you meet deaf people that sign different every day. Like we meet people with different
Who
accents.
would have thought about that? We
Yeah.
have different accents. Some of us
Yes.
slur, some of us have country, and
Yes.
so I could just imagine that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I was just with someone from Jamaica recently, and they did Jamaican sign, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
The Haitian sign it's not universal like many people think.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. I thought it was, but thinking about it, talking
Yes.
out loud to you now, I can imagine. Yeah, it can be because
Yes.
even certain people Spanish, they tongue twirl different, so it is
Right.
different.
Exactly.
Oh, well, thank you for
Thank
coming with
you.
Caleb, and thank you for
so
sharing.
much. My pleasure.
Tell the people one more time how they can connect with you.
They can contact me www.cod4deaf, the number 4 deaf.com.
Thank you again.
Thank
Hold
you.
on, y'all. We will be right back.
Cancer Has No Boundaries annual event. The event is hosted by the Lewis sisters, Angela Lewis Warren, Sheila O'Brien, and Mary Lewis. The event is in honor of our mother, Willie Lewis, who beat lung cancer, and in honor of our uncle, the late Congressman, John Robert Lewis, who lost a fight to pancreatic cancer. Nominate someone you know that has fought the battle with cancer and won or fighting the battle, and someone who has nurtured a loved one during their journey of cancer. We would love to honor them.
November 1st, 2025. Time 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Cost $75. Thank you in advance.
And just like that, we are back. We've sat and talked to Caleb. We talked to the interpreter. And we could not do this show without talking to the mother. And so you guys know that this is my best friend for over 28 years. And it is an honor to be able to let her share her story on the BTrue2U talk show platform. So with that being said, y'all put y'all hands together for my best friend, for my friend Tanya Shields. Hey, Shields.
Hi.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know you because we don't want to assume that everyone know you. So please be so kind to look in the camera and introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Tanya Shields, and I'm the one and only best friend to Miss Angela Warren here, and so you all know her. So I'm just gonna say I'm just a mother, a sister, friend, a daughter, of course, and I'm excited to be here.
You're not just. You are a awesome mother. You are definitely a great friend. So you're not just. So we're not gonna let you get away with that. But we're here for a reason today. We talked to Caleb, and his birthday is coming up, and he's about to be 21 years old.
21 years old.
Okay, so before we get into why we're here, tell us a little bit about Caleb. Like, tell us his story. How he came into existence and what's going on.
Well, Caleb was born 21 years ago, soon to be. He was full term. However, he was born with complications. I had a C section, but all of my children had been a C section except for one. However, he came out and they really don't have a diagnosis for him, so I'm going to start there because most of the time doctors have diagnoses and we go to the hospitals and we try to find why did this happen. You try to find out the why. But he was born what they call hypotonia, hypotonic, kind of with no muscle tone. So when he was born, he was floppy, like you would pick up a doll and it would be loose and really loose. So that's how he was born, with no muscle tone. We went to doctors and they really couldn't tell anything, but God had a different plan for him. He gained muscle tone. He needed nursing care. Before we left the hospital, let me step back a little bit. Before we left the hospital, he was there in the NICU, and prior to us leaving the hospital, he still had no muscle tone. So they had to trach him. He became oxygen dependent from that because holding his head up would not allow the oxygen to flow properly to the brain as it should. So therefore, they had to give him a trach. He had severe acid reflux and different things that we hadn't experienced. So his stomach had to be tied up. It's a fundoplication, they call it, and his stomach had to be tied up. If you've ever just burped with a soda, it's that times 20. And it comes up and it causes all kinds of damage. So they had to tie his stomach up because they didn't think that he would get very far without it being tied up. So they gave him a G tube to eat. He was tube fed from birth because his very first feeding in the hospital on my breast milk, his lung collapsed.
Okay.
So the very first feeding they administered to him, his lung collapsed. So when we have muscle tone, are able to cough up when we swallow something the wrong way or something goes down wrong and we're coughing for 5 or 10 minutes. However, he didn't have the muscles with which to do that. So it went directly into his lungs and they collapsed. That started a series of events that has transpired to even to this day. Still with no diagnosis as to what happened, but God.
So, Caleb was we about to celebrate 21 years of his birthday, but this is a miracle, right?
This is.
Because they didn't expect him to live past what, 3?
2, 3. I didn't even hear the noise. Being a believer, I didn't even hear what the doctors were saying. So when somebody said something, or when my apostle said something, I was like, oh yeah, they said that, didn't they? Because I never stood on that, what they said.
You was a true example of you didn't believe the report of the man. You
Right.
reported the Lord.
Right.
Yeah, and so here it is with all these complications. You pretty much take care of him now yourself. And I know you've had nurses, correct?
Yes, so we had nursing from the time he left the hospital. I've had people in my home for 20 years, except due to the changes recently that have affected our state system for care. And so I know I see many people on the news about it, but yes, we've had nursing 24 hours around the clock for many years to help assist.
But even with you having nurses, I've seen that you're really, really hands on.
Yeah, I wanted to be a nurse when I was younger.
Hmm.
So, and my mom being a nurse for over 50 years, so it's a natural thing. It's just to be a caretaker
Hmm.
and a servant all in one. And so, yeah, I pretty much train my nurses. So every time somebody says something, yeah, I'm a doctor,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, Caleb said that his mom is a big help to him. That he relies on his mother a lot. As a mother, to see that, let me not assume. Would Caleb need your care for the rest of his days?
I'm believing God that He won't.
Uh-huh.
I have
If he
attempted
stay in
to.
the state that he's in, would he? Not if God healed him for
If
everything.
if he needs some assistance, and because of a few things.
Hmm.
Because cognitively, Caleb is fine.
Hmm.
So with his cognitive ability, he's mobile. He walks, though he's oxygen dependent. But seeing that he's deaf, that causes some issues. So I've tried to teach him, as we usually do in our culture, teach our children everything
Hmm.
and teach him to be independent.
Hmm.
And so everything that I learned, I taught him from the time he was taught walking. He wasn't talking, but from the time he can understand me, because he's deaf, but he's also nonverbal due to the trait. So we didn't know for many years that he was deaf. But I believe he needs some assistance because possibly because of his own mindset of being sheltered.
Well, Caleb told me today he can hear on one side better than he can the other side, so he will say he's hard of hearing.
He's hard of hearing, yes, because he can hear sounds.
Yeah, that's what he said.
However, the Lord told me when he was an infant, I said, God, well, how can I talk to my baby? How can I communicate with him? The Lord told me everything sounds like underwater. So no matter how loud I talk, no matter what the sound is, he can hear the sound. He's
Mm-hmm.
not in total deafness, and most deaf people are not. However, it's going to be, what is he hearing?
Mm-hmm.
He can't hear, no matter how loud I say the alphabet.
He won't hear. He don't hear words clearly.
He cannot hear. It sounds, everything is muffled.
Okay.
So though he can hear me clap,
Mm-hmm.
though he can hear certain
Stop.
sounds, low decibels more than high, he can't hear high decibel sounds like beeping and noises like alarms and things for the most part. But yeah, so when people say that people are hard of hearing in the deaf community, people feel like because there are levels,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like if I talk louder. And so I continue to say that he's deaf because when people get it misconstrued,
Yeah, we think it's
that
like
he
somebody
understands.
who's losing their hearing, so
Right,
we just
right,
talk
because
louder, but it's totally different.
yeah,
for that.
it's totally different. And so therefore, in his situation, um, yeah, I just keep that there so people could stay on track with. No, you literally need to use your hands, wave at him, let him know peripheral vision and things like that.
And so, as a mother, you've done all you can do to protect him. He's lived a life of a miracle, of a believer, and now, girl, you finna celebrate 21 years.
21 years.
And so, tell us all about the plans as far as Caleb and his 21 years,
So we
and why, and why.
we're bringing awareness to parents with children with disabilities, parents transitioning into adulthood with children with disabilities, and deaf awareness, because there are so many people that are hard of hearing children even now, and people just think that they're ignoring them or that they are being rude. And it's just that sometimes people don't even know the loss of hearing, level of hearing that they had, because they possibly never heard, and so what people's normal is not always our normal. And so I would like to bring awareness to the deaf community, the sensitivities of the deaf community, and how we need to take part in attempting to communicate and not dismiss because we can hear, because we can talk, because we can eat, dismissing the struggles that other people are going through. And so because we can breathe, because he's oxygen dependent, so without it, yes, then imagine yourself suffocating. And so, just an analogy, my uncle, he had a bout with COPD, and now he's healed. And he had, a lung surgery, a transplant rather, and now he's great. But when he had COPD, he got to the place of needing that oxygen. Someone closed the door on the tube, and he almost lost his bowels, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's what he goes through. And so we unfortunately only really pay attention or become aware of things when it's affecting us or it has happened to us. But that ought not to be. Our empathy levels should be a little higher. We should aspire for it to be higher, and that's with anyone.
And so we're celebrating him. So when we're celebrating him, what are we expecting of the celebration? How can people partake in the celebration?
So we're looking for sponsors for Caleb to celebrate. I am a single mother. Caleb's care is it's taxing. However, we always attempted to have everything that he needs, and make sure that above and beyond that he is a part of everything. I try to include him in every single thing, taking him everywhere, and it's a toll. It is a toll. So, for his 21st birthday, Caleb desires to travel. He loves to dance. Some of his favorite things, dancing and basketball and whatnot,
and gaming. He told us.
Yes, in gaming now. He's in the gaming phase. Oh,
he said he's good at it too, honey.
Well, I don't know, so I don't play games, but he does. He gets on the game, and so his brother does assist him with trying to help him to understand some things because he's not hearing the people. So gamers are talking and communicating, and he's of course is not hearing what they're saying, but he does his best at gaming as well. But our goal to raise awareness is to. I first want to say I want to give God the glory because God has kept him. There has been so many near-death experiences, so many near-death experiences in my home and abroad when he was at school. So he went to school. Nurses attended school with him. He always had someone to attend with him, change out the oxygen. But due to the lack of communication, meaning they didn't sign, meaning he couldn't tell them verbally, he couldn't speak to say that the oxygen is getting low, I can't breathe. He would have what they call cyanotic spells and be blue at school, and the school would call me, and the nurses would panic. And unfortunately, nursing is it is something that needs to be done by the heart, and it is. However, every situation and every patient is different. And so people who have been nurses for decades, I still had to teach them because Caleb had his own situation. And so we want to bring awareness to that. But I wanted to celebrate him in a setting that allowed all of the people that have been pivotal in his life. The hospitals, the doctors, all of them, I wanted to extend on a level outside of family and friends. We could easily do that at home. However, I wanted this to be a next level of God being glorified. I'm going to say that because his doctors didn't think he could make it. There have been so many close calls, being in the hospitals, on the life support. He is on the ventilator at home nightly. That gives him support to his lungs, and so there is a difference, but it does support him to keep him breathing and functioning throughout the day.
Okay. And so this event that you're looking for sponsor, we're going to talk about the dates and the time, but you're not doing this just for Caleb, correct?
Correct. I'm doing it for the community, the deaf community, his friends that's gone to school with him. He graduated. They are, they're always forgotten, because it's Caleb even. He says he hates Thanksgiving. Not only because he doesn't eat, but because no one is communicating with him in our family gathering of 30 people. And so, they may someone may ask me how to say this or that, but it's not something that people do, and you don't always expect it. However, it's just to bring awareness that people don't want to be left behind.
And so the date that we want everybody to save is what? What save the date are we doing?
So the save the date is August 23rd, and that's on a Saturday. The venue has not been secured as yet. So if the venue's unable to be secured for the 23rd, then it would be that Sunday. But Caleb's birthday is on that Friday, the 22nd, and so we are looking to celebrate.
Yeah, but we're not just because I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
part of it, and so we're not just. It's not just about a party, right?
No, it's not just about a party.
Yeah, you have a hashtag Let Caleb Live, and so let's talk about what that means to let Caleb live, and what does living for Caleb's look like.
So to let Caleb live means he has there's always restrictions. We decided, and especially after COVID, many of us, our friends or people, have come out of their shells and they say, "Oh, I'm going to travel. I'm going to do this. I want to do that," and they do it without many restrictions, maybe monetary restrictions, but not without oxygen, without having to take a entire I can't even say what all of his equipment would fit inside of to go somewhere, because we have taken it. It's a lot.
And so we're not just taking Caleb. You want to take other people to support him, as well as for this to be a lifetime experience.
Correct.
So
that's the party is one thing, and that's to get everyone together as he transitions from all of the hospitals, Nicholas Hospital, Joe DiMaggio. He was born in Joe DiMaggio, and for many years, excellent care. Dan Marino Foundation, all of those, Broward Health, Selah Children's Center, they have all been pivotal in taking care of him. And so I want to come together with that in mind. So many different agencies, so many different doctors. It's hard to get doctors to get together. And not his doctors. And so as he's preparing to transition into adulthood, I wanted to bring that awareness to those parents who are having newborn babies, that have little kids that are struggling with having a child with disabilities and not having the proper connections, because a lot of times doctors will not work with the other doctors. I had doctors in several groups. They worked together, taught together, called on the weekend, called me on the weekend, and what do you need? What does Caleb need? And that is what awareness needs to be brought to those people, to have hope for that, that they know that you can get through this. Even though your child is going through something, it gets better. It can get easier, and sometimes you just have to reach out to community for that.
one of the goals that one of the things that Kayla told me when I talked to him earlier, right before we started talking to you, is that he want to travel, right? He say he loves to travel. And so in this, one of the gifts that you want to be able to give him is the ability to travel.
Correct. On the cruise, he cruising for Caleb is it would be phenomenal, because first there's limitations with oxygen on airplane. So when you are on a plane, you have to have a certain amount of oxygen that you're taking in. So because of his, I'm going to say, because one day he may be doing really well, the next day he may not. We can't carry oxygen on a plane. It has to be a mechanical oxygen concentrator, which only really goes up to what they call 3 liters. Well, he's on 3 liters around the house, but if he's in any type of distress, we wouldn't be able to get back home.
Okay.
On a cruise ship, you're able to take liquid oxygen as much oxygen as you need. The cylinder oxygens, there, that's what we usually use as well for emergencies. Those things, we're able to take those on a ship. And so a cruise would be, it would just be phenomenal for him because he can experience everything. He can experience the people. But you were saying previously that there are several people that needs to attend with him. Mm-hmm. I unfortunately cannot take care of him 24 hours by myself. I have had to do that. It does not allow me to get much sleep. So what we're looking for in sponsorship is to sponsor first his best friend, because I need someone that's going to be inclusive with him. Mm-hmm. I have gotten his best friend who's also deaf and taken him on vacations with us because I needed Caleb to enjoy where we were driving to, mm-hmm. where we were riding to, and have someone to communicate with. You know, we all want friends, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is very important. So his best friend, 2 sign language interpreters, so that he can always be present in the moment of the conversation.
In every situation.
Everywhere we go, you know, I have to interpret. He's looking for me. If I'm talking to someone, you know, normally you can hear. So you would hear the conversation. Mm-hmm. However, deaf people, it's either up to someone to interpret that conversation, or everything is just
silent.
Like this. Mm-hmm. So, and we need another nurse. We need someone else that will be able to help take care of him. And so, therefore, we're looking for sponsors that would enable us to do that trip of a lifetime for him.
Mm-hmm. And not just him and others.
Yes,
because
him and others.
What I love about it is that you're not being selfish. You're not just thinking about, oh, this is Caleb's 21st birthday, and I just want him to ball it out. No, you're thinking you want to bring awareness. You want to invite others in. You're thinking you want to give us another outlook as well as him. And I like that you're not just making it about Caleb.
Right,
you know,
right.
This is a cause, and this has purpose.
It does. Because people need to know that the struggle is real with people with disabilities, even when you have an adult with disabilities. And as he's transitioning into adulthood, I know all of those support systems that we have in the pediatric arena changes. Mm. The empathy level changes. Mm-hmm. And so with my doctors, I'm not much of a frantic kind of person, but I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? Who am I? You guys have to. Do you have somebody? Oh no, what are we gonna do? Because my support team has been awesome.
Yeah.
And so
you're shifting, and so you know what? Wait, before we get started, hold on, y'all. We'll be right back. Okay, now listen. I just wanted to throw this out here because I can't get them off my mind, and I don't need them, honey, because I'm trying to lose 10 pounds, not gain 10 pounds. But there is a young lady, Pastor Sam. She has a food truck, but not only does she have a food truck, she do desserts, and she's called Sweet Shorties. And when I tell you, her cupcakes are amazing. I want you guys, if you're in the Fort Lauderdale, Broward area, and you're having an event, you just want something good, to contact her. I'm going to share her information. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And I was going to bring some with me for y'all to see them, but I ate them. And then the other one I left behind. But nevertheless, I will not steer you wrong. When I say Sweet Shorties, cupcakes, chef kiss, baby. Get with her. Okay? Get with her. Okay, now, Shiz. Sorry, y'all. I call her Shiz. You're transitioning. Now you're going from pediatric to adult. And a lot of people don't know what it takes as far as a single mother to take on this task. What does your daily life look like?
So I work, and thankfully I at this time I work from home, and so just getting him right now. I prepare all of his medications because right now there's a pause in the nursing. As I never wanted to apply for Social Security. So I know most people say, "Oh, apply for Social Security." So we did that when he was first born, and it was confusing to me. I don't want anybody saying I owe anything because I can't keep up with that. I couldn't keep up with that then. And when he was 4, I was like, yes, no, we don't. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So with him being taken care of from his parents, I decided not to go that route. In the arena of adult care, they say that it's necessary. I'm like, and I keep passing by it when they say, "Have you applied for Social Security disability?" I say, "Well, I don't want him to do that. I want him to desire to work." He has had opportunities while he was in high school. For 4 summers, he worked with CHC, which the Communication for Hearing, Center for Hearing and Communication. It was a wonderful organization, a 501c3 that enabled him to learn job skills, took him out to Publix, took him out to the bowling alley to learn to do different things. And that was my goal for him, to work, to earn a living for himself. And I think sometimes once we receive a benefit such as Social Security, there's nothing wrong with it. It is supplemental income. However, I think that people get comfortable in not wanting to gain employment or be gainfully employed.
You wanted him to strive for more.
I want him to strive for more. I want him to be independent and take care of himself, and that's a goal. And so, as I am positively expecting him to desire those same things, he does say he wants to make money.
Yeah, and he told me today he wants a job.
He wants a job, and
we've been
looking. So the difficulty with that is the nurse needs to attend with him. When you get to a place of employment, you're like, okay. He worked for 4 summers at the Renaissance Hotel, vacuuming rooms, they cleaning, ironing sheets. And if people follow me on my Facebook, when he got his first check, all of those things, we posted those things, about him working his job with, and the nurse would just stay in the break room, and it was a group of young people, and they interpreted for them. But that's what it needs, because there's no communication. And so they had interpreters there with them for the summer to interpret to the bosses, the managers, supervisors, but those children worked. They worked hard. They worked for the summer. They gained skills, and some deaf people have a cochlear implant, and that enables them to hear sound and vibration. But a lot of times they don't want to use their voice, because we learn to speak when we learn to hear. And since hearing and speaking go together, a lot of times they are not sounding clear. So therefore they try not to speak, because that's where I think that term came in, when people said deaf and dumb, because you were unable to speak because you couldn't hear.
I got it.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So and then you're partner with someone to do this, correct? The young lady that was speaking with for him, she has an organization, and she's going to partner with you so you can get the awareness out, correct?
Absolutely, for the community of the deaf, and she is definitely been pivotal as well. She is a wonderful interpreter. I appreciate her passion, her heart, and who she is. And she's going to. Interpreters can be expensive.
Yes,
but as they should be, as any
and talk
craft.
about that. Some people may not know and then you're saying that you don't have any assistant. And I'm
Right.
sure there's a lot of people out there that don't get any assistant. And you have to foot all this by yourself as a
Yes.
single mother.
Yes. So the average interpreters make a nice salary, but as they should with
Mm-hmm.
any profession, that any craft that you gain skill in. And so interpreters are needed when he's going here or going there. So I'm usually the interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
So normally anytime he wanted to go somewhere or I wanted to take him somewhere, the nurse would have to attend,
Mm-hmm.
but he really needed an interpreter. Even in church, he
Mm-hmm.
says he can't get out of church. What I've been part of a ministry for 25 years. He can't get out of church without the interpretation,
Mm-hmm.
and those things are not covered
Mm-hmm.
by insurance. Unfortunately, they are covered. They're out of pocket expenses,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hourly, and so wanting him to that what brings in, let's have the interpreters as well, because there's always two,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can interchange and take turns, um, so that he can enjoy it like he's never enjoyed anything before.
Awesome. And it's called Let Caleb Live. And I can see this being an annual thing that you can do, you know, not just to as you bring more awareness, that you're able to maybe do a function where you could take 10 deaf people the next time, or 20, or bring them all in a certain way. Maybe you could start a camp. And so this is a door that's being opened,
Yes.
so you can do greater works. And so,
Yes, God said, he said to let Caleb live, and so I couldn't just do like I would normally do, or dismiss like I would normally dismiss, like I don't have it, God. I'd like to do this, or you know, Caleb has been. All children are sheltered to a place, right? And so he doesn't understand the mean people in the world, because a lot of those things come by hearing.
mm-hmm.
And so he would always ask me, why did they do that? I said, you just miss all of the riffraff, because he doesn't hear it, because a lot of negativity comes from hearing. And so he misses that. So he thought people were always good. And so trying to shield him, but trying to bring him into the world of reality, being that it's not always going to be pleasant. People are mean, people do not care. And that's another thing. So we're bringing awareness, because empathy is important in all of our lives.
And you want to show him beauty, right? You want to
yeah.
bring him outside of just the room in the house.
Of course.
And I'm talking to him today. He talks about how he feel isolated at times, and so the interpreter, Miss Elaine, she made me see how, I hate to say selfish, but unconcerned we are.
Right.
Because I've known Caleb all his life,
Right.
right? And I've never tried to hold a conversation with you. Technically,
Right.
I hold a conversation with you, and you hold a conversation with Caleb.
Right.
So she was talking about, just imagine coming to a party of people that's all deaf, no one can hear, and you can hear, you can talk, and you're the only one there, but yet you can't have a conversation because nobody know what you're saying.
Exactly.
This is the world he live in every day. This is the
Right.
world they live in every day.
This is the world that deaf and hard of hearing people live in daily. See, it's a difference a lot of times for adults who have lost their hearing, because they've experienced hearing.
And they probably can read lips.
Reading lips is not as simple, because people who hear can't read lips.
Well, that's true.
It's really a craft. It is really a learned skill, and so that's not even the case. However, the deaf and the hard of hearing who've never heard, who've never had the opportunity and the ability to hear, they are at a different disadvantage, one that we don't always recognize.
So let's bring awareness to it.
Let's bring awareness to it.
So how do people connect? How do people give? How do people follow your story and follow Caleb's story?
So we've set up quite a few things, because we want transparency. We want to people to know that what they are sponsoring, it's going to go to those things that is being sponsored. So we created Instagram, TikTok, Let Caleb Live, Facebook, Let Caleb Live, email, Let Caleb Live at gmail.com. And so we're going to post um, the the items that are needed, because we've been gathering that information on the oxygen, on the interpreters, and the interpreters, how much they would charge us, even though they would be on the cruise, what would be their times to work. All of those things have to be figured out, and so we are looking for all of that, and that's for later on. Um, Even though it's all necessary now, the immediate scenario is his incoming birthday in August, and so preparing for that celebration and awareness is a awareness celebration.
Correct.
Because not only will it give hope to those who are deaf and bring a lot of awareness to the deaf community, also for those moms who are dealing with children with disabilities. And I know that there's functions. There are all types of functions, and sometimes, whether it's cerebral palsy or different things, but there are so many different types of disabilities that are not made aware of. People aren't made aware of. Let's say that that haven't been put out there. So we want to do that.
Okay. And then any last thoughts as far as a single mother, as far as a child of God that's having to endure this type of responsibility? Because we take for granted, our kids get 18 and grow up, and we take so much for granted. But I don't want to leave without you making sure you stated or said everything that was on your heart today.
Well, I have 4 children. Caleb is the baby, and so as he is an uncle, I just want people to do what you would want done for you yourself. Do what you would want done for your child. Celebrate how you would want you celebrated, because he matters.
That's right.
Deaf children matter. Children with disabilities matter. Children who are nonverbal matter. And sometimes there's no one to say it for them. And so we have to be that voice.
Okay. Well, thank you, friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
I
Thank you for
pray that
having
this
me.
get out. I pray that your heart is touched, that you want to be a part of the Let Caleb Live, and know that it's not just about Caleb. It's about everyone that wants to connect. We don't know your story. You may have a story. You may have something that you can add on. So if so, please get in touch with Let Caleb Live at gmail.com.
Correct.
And you can follow him
And
all across
Instagram,
social media board, all
Let
social
Caleb
media
Live.
platform. Let Caleb Live. And you know what? Do unto other as you would have them do unto you. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I'm going to go tonight and order me a book on Amazon and write down some words. And Kayla said he going to teach me them words. He teaching me sign language. I'm going to know
He will
more
teach
than
you. He will
Jesus
definitely.
and Lord and God. He
And
going to
Christ.
teach me, okay? He going to teach me. And so I believe that it is very important that if you have someone in your life that don't hear, that we show that we care. And how do we show that we care? We learn their language, right? You start dating people that speak Spanish. What do? You learn Spanish. You date someone that speak Creole. What do? You learn Creole. If you have someone in your life, you learn their language. And sign language is his language. And so make sure we do our part. Again, this is your girl Angela with the BTrue2U Talk Show, and everything you do, always be true to you. I love you and I mean it. Bye.